long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
So this is starting to be a skipping record. You know how you get scratches on an album and it would just skip? And I really feel like that's what's going on, or it's Groundhog Day. Sharmeen Obiad Chinoy, Pakistani immigrant to Canada, gets interviewed by CNN, talking about all the things she wants to do. Inevitably, she brings up Star Wars. Now, she was named at the Star Wars celebration this last year as the director of the new Star Wars movie Kennedy wanted to make about Rey's new Jedi Order. And this is just part of this article. What people were forgetting is, I would say not a week before that, things came out about the story, about this vaunted TV or movie that were not positive about what was going on. Now, the new writer that was named is Stephen Knight. He is the man behind Peaky Blinders, but he's also got a Shakespeare biography he's working on for British television, and he's a notoriously slow writer, notoriously slow. And from what we've been told, from Cameron through Sparrow, from Sparrow through Cameron, I should say, is he has actually given Lucasfilm something, and they've rejected it out of hand. What it looks to me is that they're going to keep doing it until this movie is memory hold. And here's the reason why this isn't a movie. This is Damon Lindelhof. He's one of the most notorious showrunners and writers in Hollywood. He is the one that basically did ruin Lost. He is one of the famed secret squirrel boxes that box guys that J.J. Abrams hired. He was supposed to write this Rey movie. And not a week before that, Lindelof said he was told by Disney they didn't need him, they didn't want him. And that really the subtext in the article was there was no Rey movie. Okay. That got out in the news. Lindelof was, of course, crying about it. But along with J.J. Abrams, a lot of those people aren't going to be back in the industry. But Kennedy had Daisy Ridley come out so they could announce their movie. And this thing isn't necessarily something that's going to happen. What she did was to try to put Bob Iger on put him up against the wall, to force him to do this, and also to steal the thunder away from Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau when they brought the Ahsoka cast out. Okay, that's what all this is, period. Because in reality, what we think she was supposed to be doing was, and I mean Kennedy, was basically they were going to do a celebration of her career at Lucasfilm. And it was basically going to be her Viking funeral. We were told, Iger that people are going to know I'm leaving. And Iger said, yeah. And what Kennedy did was she basically told Daisy they were doing another Rey movie, and that's what I want you to talk about. And what I surmise, and Cameron and others surmise, is that Daisy went to Celebration to be part of the Kennedy celebration. And instead, this happened. But it's all a part of the Kathleen Kennedy war on Lucasfilm itself. And if you remember the rumor from Doomcock, she told Iger, this nonsense will end or I will burn it all down. That's what this rumor mongering and Obia Chinoy is about. Chinoy knows there's no Ray movie. Daisy Ridley has said she's never even seen a script. Okay? They fired the original writer because there was no Ray movie. And yet, here we are, black pills, sequel trilogy shells, all screaming and crying for yet another urinal cake from Kathleen Kennedy's bag of urinal cakes. Because that's what this is. Andor's a urinal cake, sequel trilogy is Soilo is. So let's talk further.
For 10 long weeks, the Star Wars company labored on the suburban London sound stages, bringing to life a film that had begun as an idea with George Lucas 3 years before.
Stop. Not one more crooked word. Your tongue could open a wine bottle.
Never had an agent. It's not like she worships the devil.
Well, she doesn't have to. He worships her. Oh, she's horrible. I've made a ghastly mistake.
Urinal cakes? I don't believe this. All these years, the doyenne of Seattle's elite, looking down her nose at everyone in sight. She owes it all to this. She's managed to have her urinal cake and eat it too.
As I think we now have what's known in the legal profession as a bargaining chip.
Oh, are you kidding? That's all right. She doesn't have to come to the phone. Just give her this message. I've flushed out her family secret. Hello, Maris.
Now, the reason why I compare this charlatan, this phony, to the absent yet very real Maris Crane in Frasier is because Kathleen Kennedy for decades has been able to bamboozle the public, at least, about her so-called talents. And it's interesting to me, seeing how this has gone. The moment that she is on her own, she manages to ruin everything. When John and Dave got together with George, she suddenly made a deal with this woman, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant. This cow worked for Harvey for 6 years. Okay. This is Leslie Headland. She was his personal assistant. She has his black book, apparently. And, you know, are we to assume she and Kathy have been using it? From what we've been told, there's scary shit going down about the Acolyte, which is why we've all kind of stopped talking about it. But the partnership between the cow and the Sith Lord, Lordette, whatever Kennedy is, the urinal cake queen of Hollywood, managed to start some real problems for Lucasfilm. And it's not only the fact that we don't know what the Acolyte is. It's more than a sizzle reel. There's a rumor that it was a pilot. It's not enough for a show, so they can't just shelve it and take the tax right off like they wanted to. The rumor is somebody who's seen what was filmed said it's the worst fan film he's ever seen. Imagine who that could be. So really, where did they get the money? Because they didn't get it from Disney. Disney, I am pretty sure that Bob Chapek, when he was CEO, told Kennedy to shut the fuck up about the Acolyte. We're not paying for it. Kennedy then went and told Hedlund, let's keep it between you, me, Candace, Rhonda, Lin Wen, and a couple other women, and we'll figure out how to get money to get this going. And what they were doing was they were doing something that Weinstein would do. If he couldn't get a major studio to pay for, which in other terms would be criminal-like behavior. Okay, so urinal cake number one is the Acolyte. Karen McCarthy, this woman, was the EP, line producer for the Acolyte. They hired her. 2 weeks later, they fired her. Why? Because again, Bob Chapek said, you're not getting any money for this stupid show. We're not going to do it. Kennedy said, let's bring it in close. Me, you, Leslie, Rhonda, Candace Campos, Lin Wen, etc. We'll put it together and we'll get funding in a different way. We're going to force them to do this. Kind of like, it's actually quite a slick move. I think if Michael Franzese ever makes mention of this, he'll bow to their genius, because this is a John Gotti, Carlo Gambino, Michael Corleone thing to do. Okay, they're trying to force Disney to not only acknowledge the Acolyte, but to pay for it and to get enough film to get it out there. But what they were doing was obviously illegal. They had to fire McCarthy. Now they're getting sued. And we know the story about that. So then they're getting sued by a company called Filson up in Duluth, Minnesota. They make outdoor stuff for product placement. Apparently they never asked, Lucasfilm never asked Kennedy, never asked Filson if they could use the bag. And another company took the bag and advertised it as their own on their website. So now Filson's suing the shit out of them for copyright, and the other company for stealing the bag. Okay, good one. Urinal cake number 2. British actor sues Disney claiming permanent damage after injury for Willow. Yet another astounding bit of news for Kennedy. Yet here she is, sitting over Lucasfilm, even if she's absent from the actual offices, like a fucking spider. Okay, right now she's in Hawaii. You know, all the tiger sharks went on strike the moment they heard she was coming. It is apparent that no matter what happens, she feels like she doesn't have to go anywhere. Okay, or she made a deal with Iger and the 5 horsemen to stay on for a while longer. But then, of course, there's the emails. We've talked about them ad nauseum. If the emails exist, and now I'm looking at Drunk 3PO saying, are you sure? Why haven't they? Look, if the emails exist, and I don't really think that there's any reason for us not to believe they exist, why haven't they been dropped? Get her out of there. Now, we have been told that Iger's happily waiting until February to do it, which is going to be kind of right before the first quarter Disney earnings call. All right. Now, I don't know. I would think just do it. That's just me. But I've said that before. I would like to actually see what the emails say. Do I believe they exist? Yeah. But do I believe the lovers? I don't know. I mean, look, it's been since October. It's January 2nd. Where are the fucking emails? Okay. Meanwhile, the urinal cake queen is still the so-called head of Lucasfilm. And what are fans supposed to do? Look, I always believe in stealing the narrative away from the people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That means every big YouTube channel. That means the Black Pill Blobs and their fake investigative reporter. That means the EU enthusiasts. That means the sequel trilogy shells. I mean, the Reytards finally have to be fucking put in their place. Yet here we are waiting. For what? Okay? These are the things we have to think about. Okay? And Disney has to understand they'd be better off announcing or slipping the emails out to humiliate Kennedy so she leaves. Now, is there a lawyer thing there? Are there legal issues? I don't know. But after the things that we think she's been accused of by Disney through the emails, I would say they're perfectly in their rights to humiliate the fuck out of her so she leaves. After all, she is a urinal cake queen of Hollywood. This is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.